This is the criminal courts building of a large Midwestern city. The crimes range from misdemeanors to capital offenses. On trial today is Lester Silky Malone, not for murder, extortion, or any crimes of which he is undoubtedly but unprovably guilty, but for a misdemeanor so minor that his legal staff had overlooked it. The district attorney had not.
I'm sure the court will agree, Your Honor, that the people have proven their case against this gentleman. And that will be all, Mr. Malone.
You may step down. It's the noon hour. Court is adjourned until 2 o'clock.
Couldn't interrupt during trial session, but you've had 4 urgent calls. Now you've got another one.
Who is it?
I don't know. He wouldn't give his name. He's on the phone now.
Hello?
Just a minute.
Dad? I'm terrified.
Sandy, what is it? Where are you?
I can't tell you, but you've got to help me.
What's wrong?
I've been kidnapped.
Kidnapped?
These men mean business, Dad. They're as dangerous as Sam Regina, the killer you prosecuted. Please do what they say, Dad, or else it'll be parting as such sweet sorrow when you find my body at the bottom of some lake.
Jason Boone?
Yes?
All right, now listen, carefully. You throw the case against Silky Malone out of court, or you'll be going to your daughter's funeral. That's if they ever find the body.
Now wait, just a minute.
Shut up! I told you to listen. Now listen carefully.
About the bomb the district attorney was about to drop. Neither did the people gathering for the formality of the closing statement, verdict, and sentencing. Jason Boone knew, and he knew how much noise it would make, and how completely it would destroy him. But even he didn't know how many other people's lives would be affected, including Silky Malone's.
Please rise. Municipal Court in and for Midwestern County is now in session. Judge Turner presiding.
Mr. Prosecutor, do you have anything to put forth in closing argument?
Your Honor, I should like to ask that the charges against Mr. Malone be dismissed.
What did you say?
I have evaluated the state's position, Your Honor, and since, in my opinion, the evidence is insufficient for a conviction, I cannot pursue this case any longer. I therefore ask for a dismissal of the charges.
Order. Order in this court. Mr. Boone, if your office refuses to cooperate, there's certainly something I can do. Bailiff, serve this warrant at once on Lester Malone, alias Silky Malone.
Your Honor.
And bailiff, see to it that he's bound over to the county jail on this bench warrant.
But, Your Honor.
Don't interrupt me. You're supposed to be an officer of this court. Are you representing or misrepresenting the district attorney's office? You can rest assured that I'll find out. I'll ask for a thorough investigation regarding your behavior. You, of all people.
Your Honor, since this bench warrant is for an old traffic violation. Would you be good enough to set bail so that my client can have bail posted for immediate release?
Your client was served with a perfectly valid warrant. I have 72 hours in which to decide what will be reasonable bail. And there are a few more old warrants where this one came from. And what's more, Counselor, I'll see to it that your client is pulled into court if he so much as spits on the sidewalk or plays a hand of pinochle with a friend. I'm going to have some time to consider this matter. One way or another, your client will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Court is adjourned.
New York is a long way off from that courtroom, but the shockwaves from the blast reached it very shortly and even penetrated my house at a very inopportune moment. I was preparing for a quiet evening at home, almost alone.
That's wonderful. Now get the canopies and warm up the mood music. Yes? Oh, Jason! It's been a long time.
Roy, I'm in a terrible jam. You've got to come out here.
Now, what in the world would Jason Boone want with my help?
Oh, please, Roy. I can't explain on the phone. Will you come? Right away.
Is this serious? I see. All right, I'll catch the first plane out of here.
Thanks.
Hold it. Put it back in the deep freeze. And cool off the mood music. Hello, darling. Look, I'm sorry, but...
In a matter of hours, Jason's trouble was national news. I couldn't figure it out. He'd been first in his class at law school, and since had built an enviable career and reputation. Now, suddenly, he had thrown it all away. There had to be a compelling reason.
Roy, I'm in serious trouble.
Well, in view of what happened in the Malone case, I can agree with you.
Well, I did it for my daughter, Sandy. Here. You remember her?
Yes, but she was only a child.
That was 10 years ago. Now her life is in danger.
Where is she?
Well, that's it. I don't know. Except that I got a call from some hood who must be working for Silky Malone. He threatened to kill Sandy unless I threw out the case against Malone.
Oh.
Oh, it was on the level. They even put Sandy on the phone. I talked to her.
But why throw the case? You ought to know that no self-respecting judge will let you get away with that. And Silky is still in jail. And it's almost certain they wouldn't turn Sandy loose in any event.
Oh, I know it was a stupid thing to do. But I panicked.
Well, anybody's liable to panic, especially where his daughter's concerned. Now, did she say anything on the phone that might give you a hint as to where she was being kept?
Well, I think she tried. She referred to a Sam Regina. Said he was a killer that I had prosecuted. No, I've never even heard of anyone by that name. Then she said she might end up at the bottom of a lake. She even quoted Shakespeare. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
Doesn't make any sense to you?
Oh, I was too frantic at the time to try and figure it out. I still can't. Maybe you can, Roy.
Well, I'll do what I can, Jay. But please, don't expect a miracle.
A respectable building in a respectable part of the city. But it housed, among other things, Silky's front, which camouflaged the headquarters of his network of vice and crime. Nowadays, the hoods have learned to at least look like their honest brethren. And unless you have a sensitive nose, they get away with it. Malone Enterprises. Somebody had a sense of humor.
I'm rather the earthy type, and I was removing distraction.
So now you're not distracted. What can I do for you?
Well, it's the old Dankerson estate, but I don't suppose you'd know about it.
I run this office. The Dankerson estate is not presently available. The northern section is in escrow to Hamilton and Jones. The southern section is under government consideration for the building of a dam. The east and west sections belong to mining interests controlled by Fisher and Wilson of Denver. Anything else?
My, you really are in charge. What does Silky do?
Silky?
All right, Mr. Malone.
Oh, he owns the place.
And you?
No, not little Diane. At least, not entirely.
That's interesting.
Now, forgetting the Dankerson estate, which we both invented, why did you come here? You must know I know who you are.
Oh, flatterer.
Tell me, why?
Well, actually, I'm just snooping around. That is my job, you know. Of course, there was an added dividend. I did meet you. And it's nice to know that you're not owned entirely.
Listen, handsome, if you didn't come here to buy real estate, I've got nothing else that would interest you.
Did that statement have the same spurious sound to you as it did to me? Anyway, I'm sure I can find some profitable investment in all these vast holdings. That is, if you'd care to show me around in person.
The only thing that I will show you in person is the door. Good afternoon, Mr. Markham.
Well, I suppose there is some victory in retreat. However, if you should have a change of heart, I'm staying at the Dexter, Suite 410.
I'm very bad at remembering numbers. Everything all right there?
I told you not to call here.
I know, but a creep named Markham came around.
What do you want?
Other than a mile pass, I wouldn't know. I think you ought to get rid of the girl right now. I mean the package, right now.
The package is in my hands. I'll decide what to do then when.
That Markham citizen scares me.
Well, don't get an ulcer over it. I'll be coming into town, and before you know it, Markham won't be able to scare a rabbit.
Okay, okay.
Meet me at the office in an hour.
I went back to my hotel and spent the rest of the afternoon on the phone, checking what are known as sources. By evening, I hadn't gotten to first base, but anything else would have been a miracle. However, the more people who knew I was nosing around, the better. Diane was my best chance. If I'd made her curious, she might react.
Hello?
Are you decent, Roy, darling?
Well, I don't think I could get arrested. Is this Diane?
Well, how charming of you to recognize my voice.
Where are you?
In the lobby, and on the way to the elevator. That is, if you're free. Got something on my mind.
I will be enchanted.
I'll be right there.
Diane had sounded more than friendly. Maybe I was about to get somewhere.
Diane, you forgot to shave.
Before I bust laughing, I got some advice for you, Buster.
Look, why don't you make it easy on everybody concerned? And tell me exactly what it is you have on your mind.
It's very simple. All you gotta do is make like you got amnesia. You forget about Silky Malone, Diane, me, and Boone. Go back wherever you crawled out from.
Suppose I'm not in the mood.
We're mood makers. Porky?
When I finally came to, I had an objective, Silky's office. Silky evidently didn't believe in or need security because even I had no trouble with the door lock. The banging around my brain had taken, in addition to giving me a truly memorable headache, had rewired all its little relays. So that I now thought I knew what Sandy's double talk to her father really meant. If I were right, I needed another and closer look at Silky's maps. The first one didn't mean anything, but there were lots of them. Bingo. Sam Regina, she'd said. Victoria Regina. It fit. Samson Victoria. And the quote from Romeo and Juliet, Julietta Lake. Sandy Boone was quite a gal. And for once I was grateful for a bang on the noggin. Now I had a new objective. The Victoria Estate. A rented car equipped with road maps made it easy. Long before dawn, I was cautiously approaching the main house. Sandy had to be there.
Don't you think it's a little late for window shopping, chum?
Late indeed. You know, I had a feeling I'd run into you again. I guess I wasn't too bright.
No, you wasn't. Okay. Get around to the front door.
This is getting monotonous.
Stop it. Stop it!
Who's he? Barry, this is Roy Markham. Very fancy and expensive private eyeball. Not very good at taking advice.
Okay, so everybody knows who I am. Now let me give you a little advice. You're not in very serious trouble up to now, that is. But if you let me take Miss Boone home...
You heard what he said, Dale? Take her home.
Stop it. Stop it!
Don't let these birds scare you, honey.
All right, knock it off. Knock it off. There's nothing funny about this caper.
Let me state a few simple facts. I don't know how much you know about the laws of this state, but you and your buddy are for the big jump. Kidnapping is a capital offense here. That means you fry.
Okay, Big Mouth. You've had it. We're taking the both of them down to the lake right now.
My father will never let you get away with this.
Oh, I don't know. He's been doing pretty good so far.
Get away from me! Don't you ever touch me again.
It's going to be a pleasure dumping you in the lake.
You know, Barry, your friend's got a lot of class. I wonder what he's got in store for you.
What kind of double talk is that?
Well, he's got to get rid of us to keep us quiet, doesn't he? From kidnapping to murder. And when it's all over, what makes you think he lets you stick around? You can sing as loud as anybody else. You ever think of that?
Why don't you shut up? He's only putting you on, Barry.
Let him talk, Dale.
Okay, kid. Okay. So phony anyway.
Like how I got here? You're a pretty smart-looking guy. How do you suppose I figured it out?
I don't know. Besides us, only Silky and Diane know about it.
Exactly.
Oh, that's good. You think Silky would blow the whistle on himself by sending him here?
Of course he wouldn't. But there's always Diane. Lovely Diane.
What about her? She's Silky's girl.
Only when there's nobody else around. You know, that's funny. You're a pretty good-looking young fella. How come you didn't know firsthand? He did.
Dale?
Sure. Sure, why didn't I think of that before? Diane calls me on the phone, and 5 minutes later, he shows up. They're in this thing together. Silky takes the rap, and you don't stand a chance in the world.
Boy, what an imagination. Come on, Barry, I'm sick and tired of this.
I want to hear more.
Sure you do. Diane let me in on some very revealing gossip about your clean-cut acquaintance here. She even dropped a hint as to how he was going to get rid of your body.
Don't stop now, Markham.
He's bluffing, Barry. He's bluffing. Can't you see through him?
The trouble with you, Dale, is you don't think Barry has any brains. It's simple.
You're going to listen to this jerk.
You'd better listen, because you'll be the only one standing in his way. The only one.
Yeah. Yeah, it figures. So you were going to hit me too, huh, Dale? Well, I'll tell you something, old man. I never did dig you much. Always giving me heat, putting me down, making me hustle the grub. Well, now it's my turn.
All right, Markham. Your number's just come down.
Now, wait a minute, Dale. Don't lose your head. Let's try and make a deal. Now, I can cop a plea with Jason Boone. Give you time enough to get out of the country.
I'd rather stay right here. If it's all the same to you. There's a lot of bread around here. It's gonna be all mine. And Diane, too.
You won't last 5 minutes when Silky gets out.
Silky? When I finish hanging this rap on him, he'll never get out. And you know it. They'll put him in a sneezer and throw away the key. And after all your lip, there's gonna be no strain killing you. No strain at all.
The strain is gonna be all on you. You know, you're a very solid type citizen. The type that gets carved up by a cellmate in the pen.
Keep it up. Go on, keep it up. Keep on talking. I'll enjoy killing you that much more. It's gonna be slow and painful. A little at a time. Maybe, yeah. Maybe you'd rather see Cupcake get it first. Yeah. How about that?
All right, Sandy. It's all over now. Come on. Eventually, people stopped asking me questions, and I was free to say goodbye to Jason and Sandy. She had insisted on my meeting her in her father's outer office. Her troubles were all over. She was proud of herself and having a ball.
I'm certainly glad to hear it. Thanks a lot. That's great. Bye.
I just went through the most delightful third degree down at police headquarters. No spotlights or anything.
I'm sure the feeling was mutual.
Well, this Dale character hasn't had such a delightful time. He's been in homicide for 10 hours and hasn't stopped talking yet.
Before he runs down, half the population of this county will be in jail.
Probably take the gas chamber to turn him off. He's turned enough state's evidence on Diane and Silky to put him away forever.
After you get through with them.
If I'm still handling the case. I've been the brunt of some pretty unflattering publicity since all this happened.
Jay, nobody's really blaming you for what you did. Don't be too concerned about it. You'll finish what you started. I had a little chat with Judge Turner this morning.
And I'll get a chance to be your star witness at last.
The Silky Malone case turned out to have some good things about it. Jason and Sandy were wiser, stronger, and happier than had ever been before. And I flew home a contented man.